So, Jared, start with obviously your experience now. How has that experience helped you? And so, what do you do in the spring when you've played a lot of football already?
I think that with that, it's easy to really focus on technique things, the fundamentals. You go back to what Coach Brown said about this spring, really working on fundamentals and stuff like that. So just getting back to my technique, that's how you make routine plans. That's how you make routine plays. That's what makes you a better player.
So, give us an example of some of those technique things that you work on right now.
Hand placement, shedding blocks in your gap responsibility, things like that.
How does this defense become better than it was last year?
The fundamentals I was just talking about, everyone's really focusing on their technique and stuff like that. When you have players all playing their job, we have a saying called 111th. Playing your 111th, doing your job, that's how you become a better defense.
Studying more, studying tape more. I know some of the guys talked about that. I mean, you look last year, that defense, there was a lot of young guys that really had not played much around some veteran guys like you. Describe what it's like blending all those guys together like that.
You can definitely tell there's more experienced guys now, after last year. You gain experience through your years. You can tell guys are getting more confident in how they play. It's really exciting to see guys take the next step and grow as players. So, yeah.
As a veteran guy, is it ever hard to, and obviously you're going to do what the coach tells you to do and you want to improve off last year, but is it ever hard to embrace going back to the fundamentals because you feel like maybe, you honed in on this one particular aspect that yet the coaches are spending a whole day on because the team wasn't good last year? Is that ever hard to have to whittle yourself down so everybody get on the same page? You know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, there's a saying, greatness is mundane. Working on the fundamentals, it can get really tedious, but at the end of the day, those are what's going to get you where you want to be. So I say it could be difficult at times because you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, but,
Not every player needs to perfect every single part of the fundamentals, but they may be doing it for every
Yeah, strengthen your weaknesses. That's all it is.
Ask Hersey, I ask you, what's the best thing this defense does right now?
We do a lot of good things, a lot of great things, actually. I say pressuring the quarterback, getting the backfield, stuff like that, tackling. We got a lot better at that.
To that end, do you feel like your defense maybe is getting overlooked and maybe catching people off guard because of kind of an off-season last year?
I'm not going to say we're going to catch anybody off guard. I'm more of a actions speak louder than words type of guy, so I'm not going to say anything like that, but we're definitely a lot better than we were last year.
Is that something you guys talk about in the locker room, though? Hey, we didn't perform up to expectations last year, and this is something we got to fix and get better this year.
Of course. All the time you're going to want to be better than you were last year or previously. That's just like the game of football. So you can't be content with previous successes or previous failures.
As one of the older guys in that locker room, is it on you to remind guys, hey, this is the standard here, this is how we got to play?
Absolutely. I think besides maybe Marcus or really Sean. Yeah.
Defense as long as anybody.
I probably have the most experience out of everyone.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It takes me being a leader and bringing some guys along.
Is that something you're comfortable doing?
Yeah. I say in the past, it's definitely a role I had to grow into, but I think I'm growing into it nicely.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the pass rush changes this year without Dante?
I think that a lot of guys need to carry more weight now, to put it plainly. And which we have the guys to do that. We have the depth to do that. So.
Outside of Sean, not a super big defense, right? You're going to have to maybe rely on quickness and speed and agility maybe more. Some of the guys you got up front.
I wouldn't say that. We have some size. We have some length. I'm a speed rusher, so, if we're relying on that,
300-pounders, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But we're all athletic. We can make plays, so I'm not worried about that.
Be a little different defensively in that regard because you've got maybe some more athleticism and speed and so forth.
Some things have changed.
Yeah.
Did your brother give you advice, different position, but do you guys talk?
Yes.
What's the best thing he's told you?
Like I said earlier, the fundamentals, everything's really coming down to that. Like I said, hand placement, shedding blocks. You can't make a play if you're getting blocked. So linemen blocking with hands, getting their hands off you, football IQ things, things like that.
Did he call you and ask your advice on retiring?
He doesn't want my advice on that.
Jared, I know it's very early for him, but Jimmy Bell, at offensive tackle, the basketball player, have you encountered him yet in any type of a drill or a live situation?
I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him?
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For pass rush stuff, it seems like a lot of edge rushers probably rely on somebody in the middle getting a push and getting him outside, or at least making him wait so it makes it easier. How much do inside guys and outside guys in pass rush have to work together? So it's not just one guy coming around the corner that's relied on. It's not just a nose just trying to push to the middle.
I think pass rush in general is pretty conjoined. If you have a guy on the edge that's rushing up the field, the quarterback can just step up. That makes it difficult to get sacks. If you have guys in the middle who are getting pressure and the quarterback just goes outside, then they can't affect the ball either. So it's a mutual relationship between the two.
I think a lot of people understand that watch the game and sit in stands or on TV and it's like, why can't that end get around the tackle? Why can't that guy just run through the middle? There's a lot that goes on. And
that's the reason why they're in the stands and we're on the field.
Okay. Yeah. But then I guess how do you qualify success? Because sacks can be very hard to get, but you can have a successful play without getting a sack, right? There are other measurements for a pass rush to be effective. What should the people in the stands or on TV take note of?
I think the most important aspect of pass rush is affecting the quarterback, whether that be a pressure or a hit. Sacks are a premium, so if sacks were the main goal obviously it's the main goal for success, but if it was the main, basically, outcome, the top pass rushers in the world would have 30 sacks a year. So, as long as you affect the quarterback, I believe that's what matters.
Somebody who's been here for a few years, compare and contrast where you guys are at this time, this spring, maybe to some other springs. You talked about going back to the basics. Where do you think you're ahead of maybe where you were last year or 2 years ago, or maybe where you need to pick up a little bit?
I think we're better at tackling defense. We really focused on that this spring, and you can see that in the way that we practice. Guys are flying around more because everyone knows what to do. So I'll say we're ahead by a considerable margin from past springs.
When you say tackling, open field tackling?
Open field tackling, close quarter tackling, all that.
Okay.
Have you tackled more this spring than in the past?
Absolutely.
It's been not only stretched but worked on, and even though they try to cut back on contact over the years.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, you don't get better at tackling by not tackling. So, got to focus on that.
Thought of the young guys behind you, especially James Hurd. What do you see out of him?
I like James. I like James a lot. He has active hands. He has a really good get off the ball. I think he's going to come along, be a really nice player.
That young, or there's still a lot of things he doesn't know, or is it just the fundamental stuff like you talked about you had to learn?
I think fundamentally he's pretty sound. I'd say the experience aspect of it, he doesn't have any experience because he's still really a high schooler. But I think after the spring, going into the fall, coming into the season, I think he'd be a lot better. Probably ready to contribute.
To Greg's point, think back to your first. What did you not know that you know now? You're kind of smiling. Probably a lot, I'm guessing.
Probably that you can't bull rush a 315-pound tackle.
It doesn't work.
Nah, it doesn't work. Especially when you're 220. Yeah.
Tried that a few times.
A few times when I was a freshman. Did not work out well. Colton McKivitz tried to bull rush him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Nah.
Yeah. But you learn pretty quickly, don't you?
Yeah. That's the thing. You got to make mistakes. That's how you grow as a player.
Just don't repeat them, right?
Oh yeah. Can't repeat mistakes.
Yeah.
How much bigger are you now? What were you when you got here? Where are you at now?
I was probably 216 when I first arrived, and I'm at 237 right now. I'm trying to be 240 for the season. That's my goal.
At 240, could you maybe bull rush a little bit more than you could at 216? Could you maybe take on a 300-pound guy maybe a little bit more now?
I can take on a 300-pound guy right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, anything else from here? Is there any other players that we haven't mentioned you want to bring up that maybe aren't getting as much shine?
Mike Lockhart, I think he's playing very well. Him and Russell, he's coming along. I've seen some good things out of Ben Cutter and Gyro Fabius. Guys up front, as far as the DBs go, Marcus, Andrew Wilson-Lamp, I think is doing really well.
You're the veteran guy. Your word counts, man. You've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else?
All right, you have a nice day.